Slightly intense tuning issues. I did actually mean to check that this was in tune beforehand. Yeah, I thought we were a bit high. I was singing Blackbird to myself earlier, and it was a bit high. So I was, it's a light of the dark black night. Not so easy, not so easy. Because the rest of the song is just like, oh. The rest of the song, pretty straightforward, you know. Simple range, low, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, we get this. It's that blackbird fly, blackbird fly, yeah. So it's just, you know, and then it was slightly higher, so it was more like blackbird fly, blackbird fly, into the light of the black night. So, you know, all I'm saying is I was having trouble, and then I did a bit of my generation too, because my generation was the 60s. I'm technically very old, and then, you know, that goes higher and higher and higher and higher. This is my generation. 35. This is my generation, and then we have one high one. This is my generation, and that was up here. This is my generation. Ow! Ah! So, you know, that was difficult. Anyway, that's irrelevant, because you've come here for something else, haven't you? You've come here for some musical analysis. Well, it's technically Thursday, but we're going to do it like it's a Tuesday. And we're going to have a look at You Heartbreaker, You. New Jehnny Beth album. Now, Jehnny Beth, I have mixed feelings about, because Jehnny Beth is the lead person in the band Savages, who are critically lauded, but I've never found very interesting. Oh, and well, they have many more albums than I thought. I've listened to Silence Yourself from 2013, and I think it's fine, but yeah, Adore Life as well. I think it's just difficult to plough a rock furrow at the moment. But there are people doing it in ways that I appreciate. However, when To Love Is To Live was released in 2020, I thought this was an extraordinary piece of work with amazing stuff on it. French countryside, incredibly beautiful song. And Human, yeah, really weird. A lot of this was really weird. I Am starts it off on a very odd note. I think there are a few comfortable places. An odd Cillian Murphy feature, and also Joe Talbot from Idols as well, so that's all nice. And I mean, we're continuing with the black and white aesthetic for this album, but we haven't quite got the sort of, I guess, futurist sort of robotic aesthetic. What is really going on with this album cover? Let's just switch view for a moment and get me out of the way. I mean, straight jacket, is it? Is it meant to be a straight jacket or just a really big jacket? I don't know. I can't really tell. We've definitely got a very fierce stare with the hair slicked all the way back, almost like a boxer or some kind of, yeah, athlete in a tracksuit. I don't know. and then just this scroll over the front. It's quite in your face anyway, isn't it? So maybe that's what we should expect for what's going on this album. Who knows? We will. And we've also got another set of bingo things up here. Building noises, breathy, fluttery synths, intro, chorus, and coda. Metallophone, seems like a long shot, but we'll see. Metallic synths, second chorus longer, distorted sample, pauses, one moving part in hook, poorly defined section, bridge after second chorus, bridge/breakdown/exploration, no intro, that'll be an interesting one, build through bridge, one moving part in pre-chorus, harp, full mix filter, silence, chorus has two parts, distorted, rough, grating, I don't know that says grating, but whatever, I can't write on a computer. Synths, military snare, that'll be a surprising one if it comes up. Terminal has multiple sections, all familiar with that stuff. Chorus part 2 by itself, a very rare one. Second verse straight after first, and bass, which we can probably rely on. Interesting, an interesting mix. Let's see what we get then. So here we go. Jehnny Beth, Broken Rib. Well, immediately we are ticking off no intro, I would say. Just immediately jumping in with some vocals. That's cool. Glitchy electronic vocals and a bass. Oh yeah, let's cross off bass while we're at it. We don't normally do these mid-flow, but there we are at the beginning. I think it makes sense. Yeah, coming straight in with boom, boom, boom. So we're more in the mainland rock territory here, aren't we? With that beginning, but with still a tech edge. Yeah, so that's whole riff. Okay, so those last two are quicker than the first four even. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, 2. Right? So it has this sort of off-kilter rhythm. It's not like everything square, which would have its own off-kilter rhythm because there's only 6 notes, but this fits them essentially into a 4/4 bar. So if we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, we go 1, 2, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, gosh, why am I struggling with that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how they would fit. Or we can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so it's a little bit syncopated against that implied 4/4. It's what we would probably call a clave. Coming from Afro-Cuban music, I guess. Just this repetitive rhythm that has a slightly off-kilter feel. Although I've recently learned it would also qualify as an aksak rhythm. That being a term from Ottoman music theory, according to Wikipedia at least. Ottoman music theory, which would be the music of the Ottoman Empire, i.e., well, lots of places, but especially Turkey and Bulgaria, which have a lot of irregular rhythms in their music, and any meter that has a mixture of 2s and 3s is known as aksak. And there are lots of different classic versions of this, and I don't think this is one of the classics from that region. This is one from a different part of the world, really. This. Anyway, it's very much separated from its cultural context here, I would say. More just it's a good rhythm to have in a song. Exciting, sort of dance available. We've also got a voice going ah in a slightly scary way with a lot of distortion on it. Yeah, so there. The drums come in and we get that big scream, very in your face. It's interesting though because the texture is actually really open. We've only got the three main things going on. That scream, the drums, which there's only three bits of the kit so far really. There's the hi-hat going all the time, and there's the snare, which is mainly on the backbeat, so not on the 1 but the 2 and the 4. And then we've got a lot of more interesting stuff on the bass drum. So it's like kick, snare, kick, snare, something similar to that. Let's hear it one more time. Oh yeah, no, it's even got, so after those second 2 kicks, kick, snare, kick, snare, we don't have anything other than that hi-hat in the drums until that second snare comes, and there's one right at the end of the second bar as well. Fun. Yeah, so it feels sparse but really heavy and aggressive, I guess, like a lot of punk does, although I would say punk normally has quite an oppressive texture as well, whereas here the texture is more open. We're getting the aggression just through the use of each of these instruments and the particular sounds that they have. There's a lot of sort of ambient noise as well, but it's on the low key, sort of keeping itself out of the middle of the texture, just in the ears. It's interesting. Maybe a distorted guitar or something is making that. Now, okay, it sounds like we're getting to a verse now, but we could actually probably consider that just the intro. If we're not going to get any repetition of it, we would probably see it as just the intro. So let's just keep our ears out for if we get broken rib a few more times. Sounds like we've got a synth in now, just going just up on there. Yeah, our key, by the way, is E, but we haven't got many different notes here, and even the words now are spoken as opposed to sung, so we're really keeping light on melodic or harmonic content here. Yeah, there's a distorted guitar that's come in now, doing a bit of chugging, this kind of thing. It has a little bit more of a complicated part than that. It's a little hard to hear, really. It's not the important thing in the texture. Got these screamy ambient things, which are probably more important. Oh, and yes, what I wanted to say was that the snare being on the offbeats 2 and 4, as opposed to the full offbeats, just the weaker beats, I guess. I don't like that way of thinking about it. Backbeats, maybe. 2 and 4, that reinforces this 4/4 feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than thinking about it as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, which is complicated anyway. Most people wouldn't think about it that way, but they might think about the beats going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you just have 2 quicker beats at the end there, but 6 beats overall. But because we have that snare there, 1, bum, 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 it really reinforces that slow 4. Okay. Okay, new section here then. It feels similar, but we've backed off on the drums, so that's left us with a more sparse texture, and we've got more whispering. I guess it was close to whispering in the previous texture. Let's just hear it again. Yeah, so it is similar from the main voice, but we don't have those extra vocals coming in going rah, 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 just to emphasize something. So it feels softer, a little scarier. Okay, so we got the guitar coming through there in the left ear. We're in drop D tuning, drop, fuck up. And it's so we've got that F. That's a new member to our harmony club. We had E, D, and we had B, and we had A. Is that right? No. E, D, A, and G, and then that F, giving us a Phrygian feel. That F is the flat second of the key. And that's dark. The flat second is one of the darkest notes we can get. Do, do. Sounds dark and aggressive, and that's definitely in keeping with everything else going on in the track. So is this leading into a chorus now? It feels like a big build. Okay, so here the drums have gone to emphasizing the Aksak rhythm, with snares on each of those main hits. So we get a really different feel to that. Everything's sort of united on that, although we don't have the riff now. The riff is not bow, dun, 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 dun. We've just got chord. We've just got a chord of E being held by everything, while the moving part now is the vocals, na 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 na, going between those two notes, with a different rhythm, not the same 3-3-3-3-2-2 that the drums are doing. So we get those two rhythms against each other. That just creates a more interesting, arguably, basically polyrhythmic texture. Okay, so there we had the chords moving each bar, I think, but the bass didn't seem to be moving in the same way as the chords. So I'm going to have another listen. Yeah, so from that united E chord, the guitar goes to a D major chord, still in key, although it has the F sharp when we've been having the F, so we've got a little bit of modal change there. But the bass is actually on the A of that chord. So we go. Gives it quite a weird feel, and I don't really have a good handle on what that is. It seems like what that is, which is a second inversion, has a different feel depending on the pitch that it occurs at, and here it just feels like the things have become slightly less united. They still are working together in an interesting way, but there's this kind of novel, unexpected feel to the chord without overcomplicating it. Yeah, hard to describe really. Better, easier to experience. Yeah, and then that chord, ooh, which so I think similar kind of thing there is the C chord. But is it on a G? It doesn't really feel like it is. Yeah, it is. a C on a G, which I can't play very easily in this position. Yeah. That's an interesting one, and there's something other going on as well. Broken rib, broken rib. Yeah, fits with the chord. Feels like there's some F coming in somewhere, but I can't quite pick it out. It's very, very noisy texture anyway. These distorted guitars fill up the rest of the soundscape, so it no longer sounds sparse, and it just takes this one particular instrument with all this distortion to fill the frequency spectrum. It really makes a big, big difference, and everything else now has to fight through that wall of sound. Shouts up in a much higher range than before, so that really cuts through and is quite powerful. I would say, to be honest, the distortion, like, it's on a little heavy. I think you could probably cut back and get a more powerful performance, but that's just me. Anyway, we haven't got the bit from the beginning again, have we? So maybe that is just the intro. Or, I mean, we could maybe see it as a hook, I suppose. Whatever. We don't get bogged down in these changes, these terms. What's coming next then? Okay. Okay, so those were the same chords as we had just before. The E, the D, and the C. Very classic combination. Yeah, 1, flat 7, flat 6 in minor, lovely, straightforward. But the melody was doing a very different thing. Not so much singing this time, more just shouting broken rib. So it felt quite different. Just because of that, I think. Let's have one more listen. Yeah, so the drums are doing the same thing that they were doing. And then quite a big drop there with just a squeal. I don't know. Some kind of harmonic coming through the feedback. Just through that space, everything else dies off apart from the vocals, and then they come back. Pow. Okay, so we're back into more of our verse texture. The distorted guitars are backing off a little, although they did just burst through with some quite discordant stuff just at the end there. Yeah. Doo-doo. Feels like it's those two notes, which is edgy because we've got an E flat and a D, and our main chord is E. So those two with that is yeah, pretty aggressive. Not easy to play. Bow bow. But yeah, deliberately picking kind of the two very close notes, and then they're just off from where they would be to make a nice consonance with the main chord, so we get this multi-layered discordance which feels pretty aggressive, and it's just coming on those last two. So those last two beats, or the fourth beat in this long 4. Okay, so back into the verse texture just like we were before, but maybe with a little more synth noise in the background. Again, a big whole 2 beats drop, 2 slow beats. And because this tempo is quite slow, those 2 beats take up, you know, broadly a whole bar of normal paced music. Maybe a little less, but yeah. It's a long pause for that static, that feedback to go on in. Okay, and we're straight back into the chorus here, it seems like. So the last time we had this slight drop before the chorus, not just a 2-bar drop, but a longer section which came down in intensity before we hit the chorus. This time we don't. We've just gone straight in. So we've kind of maybe got rid of our pre-chorus, and this time we're just going straight in with the chorus. It does actually feel very like Idols. So yeah, interesting, because the song I think Joe Talbot guested on the previous album doesn't really feel like Idols, but this one, yeah, it has all the aggression of an Idols song. Okay, and we've come down to almost an empty texture here. After some squeals died off, we've just got a weird synth. Bow bow, bow bow. What's that? What would you say? I would say it doesn't exactly sound metallic. Bow bow wow wow. Ooh. Let's I'm going to bring up a list of potential synth sounds, because I think it almost deserves a new category. Let's see. Bow wow wow. So it's not smooth, silky and velvety. It's not distorted, rough and grainy. It's not metallic, although that's the closest thing to it. It's not hollow, nasal or woody. It's not plucky, bright or glassy. It's not cold and reedy. It's not breathy or fluttery. It's not dark. Yes, it is dark and punchy, actually, isn't it? Bow, because it's low. It's got that that fade off after the beginning. Bow. Yeah, I would say it's a dark, punchy synth. It's not warm, full and fat. It's not 8-bit, although there's some connection. It's not watery, it's not choral, it's not harp adjacent, it's not squeaky, it's not droopy and organ stoppy, and it's not sparkly. So yeah, I think we're going dark and punchy on that one. Bow, which I think is fair. Yeah, this is interesting. The texture here is so open, but we've got that kick drum coming for those ba-ba, ba-ba, which again, it reinforces the 3 there, but a slower 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. Ba-da, ba-da, which is fun. Yeah, no riff really. We just got the bow, bow, and then ba-da. Just those two. It might be those two, but I think it is those actually. But we've also got the a slightly more clean guitar sound in here. Yeah, it's going. So it is okay. It is those two. It's D and C sharp instead of E flat and D. So it's slightly less discordant. Interesting choice. And yeah, the voice goes in for that D as well. Okay, yeah, we really lost everything there for a moment. So we're maybe dealing with silence. I would call it a silence, but it's such a short moment between that fade away of the guitar and everything coming back in. Okay, and this is like our beginning actually, isn't it? So this is in the place of where a bridge might be or an exploration. So this is what it is. I guess it's a hook. It definitely isn't our chorus, because we've had that, and it's not a verse. But although we do have the same rhythm as the verse, same drum part now as the verse. Some crazy synths in the background. Okay, this feels like our yeah, our first verse, but we again have played with texture. There's not so much going on. More like the pre-chorus in texture. We've lost the hi-hat especially, but also the drums seem to be going through some funky production, just going with it and not letting the full sound come through. Yeah, just on that snare. It might actually be something in addition to the snare, but it feels connected to the snare. So only the kick drum is really remaining reliable. Another big drop, a full bar drop there. Learn to breathe, with everything just holding, the guitars holding a kind of low D, the bass holding an E. So those two things playing against each other and just, miasma of space. The only thing moving is the very quiet whispers. So we're really playing with extremes of loudness and softness here. The soft, scary, intimidating, intensely delivered whispers with a sparser texture that nonetheless is very on and very intense. And then the fully aggressive, shouty texture that is the choruses. What are we going to get here? Are we going to get a chorus? It feels like it would be right to do. So it is the same chords as a chorus, and in fact the bass here is going with the chords, which is interesting. We wouldn't expect that based on the previous section, although it sounds more straightforward. So I guess a more unified ending, a less emotionally ambiguous one, maybe. Okay, but now that we've got the lyrics back in, the bass is going back to the second inversions. That A on the D chord. Boom, boom. It's an interesting choice. It makes the chords sound quite odd. There is also a little more movement to the bass there as well. Boom, 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 boom. So it's got more melody to it, I guess. A little bit of counterpoint, I guess. Filling in the space between vocal utterances. Really going screamy. And then the texture just drops from underneath. And then it's just left with that, again, squeal of guitar and the ring of maybe the ride cymbal, maybe the crash cymbal. Anyway, it's ringing in the end there, and that's the end of the song. Pretty simple song, but playing a lot with texture. So we got some big variations in that, and unexpected variations across the run length. We didn't really have building noises apart from I think right in the first, leading into the first chorus. Yeah, ba 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 ba. I think that counts. I'm gonna smack it in. No breathy, fluttery synths. A poorly defined section. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I would say that when we bring the chorus back at the end, but it's instrumental and it's slightly different, I would say that's poorly defined or hard to define. Exactly. Bridge after second chorus. Would we call it a bridge? No, we would call it a hook. So we're going to ignore the bridge ones. Although I guess it does somewhat count as an exploration. I don't know. Yeah, texturally we did some interesting things, so I'll give it that one. One moving part in hook. Yes. Yeah, that's definitely true. Oh, although in the first part we've got that riff. That was interesting that riff really didn't play through most of the song. That was an interesting thing. I guess we're going to say no for one moving part in hook. What else have we got? Distorted, rough, grainy synths. Not really. We've got quite clear ones most of the time. Chorus has 2 parts. Ooh, I would say no, although they do treat the melody differently in the first 4 bars compared to the second 4 bars, but I wouldn't call that a second part. It's still very similar to the first. Terminal has multiple sections, definitely not. Military snare, definitely not. Silence, we just about got it. We didn't really get pauses though. Yeah, we didn't get pauses. It was all running at that speed the whole time. Chorus part 2 by itself, no. That was a long shot. Outro, chorus and coda, no. Metallophone, no. I don't think we're going to get metallophones here. Metallic synths, close but not quite. Distorted sample, I wouldn't say so, no, I don't think so. Build through bridge, no, not really, we didn't have a bridge. Although I should probably just write exploration for each of those, just to keep it simple. Full mix filter, absolutely not. Very little filtering going on in this track. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say so. Second verse straight after first, no. Kind of, but I think we said that was a pre-chorus, so no. Harp, absolutely not. One moving part in pre-chorus, yes. Let's just hear it again. Let's just hear it again, just to make sure. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's a few things whirring and going slightly all over the place in the background. You know what? Would we call those distorted rough synths? I don't think we would. I think we'd maybe call them cold reedy ones. But yeah, we can have one moving part in pre-chorus, and second chorus was not longer, and we didn't get metallic synths. So not a great show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But then these are designed for Aurora songs. So what do we expect? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. It's okay. It's okay. We'll move on. We'll try and get a better score with this next one. No Good for People. Hey, this album is only 28 minutes long. We could easily get through half of this maybe if we keep up the pace. No Good for People. Interesting. So a little, I would say that's a sample. I would say it's slightly distorted because we've got this kind of bandpass filter on it. So it sounds like a very basic recording taken in a room, not facing the microphone. Maybe the vocals facing the microphone, but the guitar that's playing along with it is somewhere else. Maybe just off mic. And yeah, it feels like it's the start of a song, and it's got the lyrics we'd expect for the song, but then it just stops. Let's hear it again. Yeah, interesting. We're back in E, but with a really low bass. Oh, around there. Yeah, real. Yeah, below what I can feasibly do. But we're getting that kind of. Well, it's not even. It's not even Phrygian here, really. I don't want to labour too much on a part that might not even come up in the rest of the song, but let's hear it again. So starting there on the G and sliding to the D and then the C sharp, and then to the E. So what scale, if any, has an F, an E, a D, and a C sharp and a G? I mean, there are a few that might come in, but the one that strikes me is the octatonic scale. Half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole. Which immediately puts this into an uncomfortable place. Octatonic scales do occasionally come up in more popular songs. The most famous is probably in Just by Radiohead, where we get this scale that goes bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. The thing about it being octatonic is that it has 8 notes before it gets back to the beginning again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 1. That's where we started. 1, up the octave. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we were going to continue. So octatonics, sort of by their nature, especially in a Western idiom, they have this otherworldly feel, like the harmony needs to change to accommodate it. If we keep just a straightforward, I don't know how this is going to sound. I'm going to take off a headphone so I can hear properly. And it's going to go bum 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 bum, yeah. Some of the notes fit just fine, and then some of them are well off. And so it's a demonstration of how the harmony needs to change to accommodate such an interesting scale. Anyway, we've only got 2 different parts moving here, so it's a little easier to accommodate. This is probably why you get quite crazy harmony in metal, say, because you've really just got the chugging riff, so you don't have to worry too much about whether these things match up, because they're constantly moving on one particular trajectory. Once you add in a melody on top, that makes it a whole lot harder. And I guess that's why the more extreme side of metal doesn't tend to have melodies. I guess also because melodies actually don't sound so extreme. They sound quite nice. But you could make a more extreme form of music using someone like Diamanda Kalash as an example, where the melody is as discordant as the accompaniment. There are lots of examples. I would say classical music is actually more full of those examples. Really, really harsh music where the melody and the accompaniment don't match. You wanna be having a look at like Alban Berg for that kind of stuff. I mean, it gets into extreme atonality at a certain point. You also get bitonality, where you have 2 specific different, but generally consonant in their own way, key centers that are going on at the same time, and so you get this kind of split in your head. All this to say, I know lots about music theory that is irrelevant to this song. Okay, so this is the texture, kind of sound that I would expect more from the previous album. this let's get it in. That's definitely a distorted, rough, grainy synth sound. Very, very low pitch. Bow. Again on the E. Oh no, actually C sharp. C sharp this time. Bow. Very low, very rumbly. And then we've got electronic drum sounds as well. That absolutely incredibly curt snare sound, just going ka, ka. Just a really, really short sound. What else is there in the drums? Got a kind of hi-hat-ish thing going. So giving us two real offbeats there. Yeah, it's kind of interesting upbeat drum pattern. But those are the two main things we've got on until this moment where it sounds like we get another synth in. That's probably a heavily distorted bass, I would say, but yeah, it's doing that similar kind of riff to the one we heard at the beginning. Yeah, the overall rhythm here, we don't feel these long beats quite as much. There's a lot of intricacy going on in the middle. Bum, 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 dum, dum, dum. It feels to me more like dum, 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 dum. Although we are still just getting those big pounds of synth and kick drum on those 1, 2 slower beats. So you could see it either way. So I quite liked the things you see, happy. So you delay the rhyme there one beat. It doesn't really feel uncomfortable because you're still satisfying the rhyme, but you're just satisfying it slightly later. So it's a bit of scansion play. It's quite a small thing, but quite an exciting thing to do. Fairly common, but worth pointing out. Yeah, similar kind of thing then on these next two lines. So, but I'm alive, and so I guess. So that comes just before the 3/4 there. So guess is what we're rhyming with, right? You haven't found a way to kill me yet. So yet is the rhyme, and that comes after the 4th beat this time. So we were after the 2nd beat before, I guess, right? Just before the 3rd beat, and this one's way to kill me yet. So again, we're delaying that rhyme, this time 2 beats. So it's a cool thing to do. 2nd line is longer, 4th line is longer. Just gives this slightly off-kilter feel, but it's it really must it actually draws more attention to the words by being slightly off from the expected structure, and it's a good thing to do. And as well as that, we've got these gang vocals coming in again on that last bit, way to kill me yet, and we're going to change texture in the next bit, I imagine. Yeah, and we change from that. We change from the E being our sort of root for the main bit here to D. Yeah, we have that riff from the beginning. G to D to C sharp and back to E. Okay, so that part at the beginning is actually making its way in here. It's interesting. Then it probably is from a demo, and it's probably just showing that this song started out in a very different manner. It's a cool thing to do. I'm not sure that I totally am on board with the effect, but I don't care enough to make a fuss, so we'll go along with it. But yeah, we definitely changed texture here. We got some more distorted guitars coming through, and it suddenly filled up, didn't it? Those hi-hats or similar going just giving us a whole lot more semiquaver rhythm, faster and faster, and exciting, and more exciting. Okay, and now these are actually continuing over into this next section. Even though the guitars are fading away, we're keeping those frenetic hi-hats. Okay, so this is presumably a chorus. We've got the riff repeated there. Bow. We went just down to drums and bass with the "I'm no good for people" over the top. Very different delivery to the verse, all high and aggressive. Okay, and then a straight back into the verse here, isn't it? And almost nothing changes. Let's hear. There's a subtle change to the drums, which is that the kick drum disappears. But it's really complicated drum texture here. It's really nice and full of energy, because it's not always just hi-hat on every semiquaver. We've got the snare coming in as well, and maybe some open hi-hat. And the things are in slightly different places in the stereo spectrum as well, so that adds an extra level of complexity, but also just excitement and not unpredictability, but it makes it harder to hold. It makes it harder to grasp exactly what's going on. Yeah, we've got lots of interstitial vocals adding in. That was fun in the right headphone there. Okay, kick drum back in. And this is our chorus. Okay, second chorus longer. So yeah, we got twice as long a chorus there, with the riff still in. Yeah, so the guitar is doing that higher riff, I think with a synth as well, and the bass is doing a lower riff, but they're very similar. And then we get back to just the bass. Yeah, that's a cool relationship. They're not moving the same way, but they're moving at the same time, and so we get these intricacies of harmonic relationship that are fun, and because they're so fast, again, hard to grasp hold of in the moment. But this is straightforward fifth. This is a major seventh, and this is a 10th. I guess this was a 12th, but we'll call it 5th, and we'll call this a 3rd, and that's a 7th. So it's a different relationship on each of those chords made, which is nice. Just a level of intricacy and sort of, artistry, which is nice. And then the difference with this chorus here is we got different lyrics, and the melody, I guess, such as it is different. And we also got a shouty extra bit in the 4th one. Here we go. I'm still standing, which sort of reminds me of the verse, but I'm not sure we actually did get that in the verse. Is it worth going back? No, I'm not going to go back. Feel free to go back and tell me if you do, or I will probably listen to this again and find out. Okay, so here we're into an exploration, really, I think. We've got this kind of bass riff going on in the underground, just like we would do in the main section. But we've got no vocals over the top. We've instead got some guitar stuff. Oh, actually it feels like distorted piano, really. Yeah, we've got these chords which feel like... I did have a good name for these chords, but I can't remember what it is. But they are basically a certain set of classic rock chords that are overdone. Flat 7. Yeah, they're in everything. They're in Boys in the Better Land. And they're in the bloody root position as well for the guitar. So this is an uninteresting addition, but texturally it actually feels quite cool because it's got this weird amorphous, hard to define instrument somewhere between a piano and I don't know maybe a metallophone, but it's distorted in such a way that it doesn't feel very much like a piano. And I think there's also a distorted guitar doing a similar thing. Yeah, and we've got this. Sorry, I just jumped back there and I didn't even notice the join, which was pretty cool. But yeah, there's a little bit of glitchy electronics too. If only that had come up on the bingo card, we would be getting a lot. We would be getting a lot here. There's this gap here, with that. It's like up there. Feels like it's doing that, but really clawing at each note, not letting them through. Can I do something like that? Yeah, that kind of thing. So it's really short notes just scratching at your eardrum. Distorted voice. It actually feels like it's lowering in pitch artificially there. So the voice is going to go a bit thicker. So it starts, and then it's yeah, that's fun. There's that again. I'm still standing. Kind of sounds like I'm still selling to me, but I guess it's probably still standing. So yeah, that's a hook, really, isn't it? But the whole section, it can't be called a hook because we've only just had that right at the end here. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 sized break or drop there before bam we come in with this next section. Okay, that's probably our mid section then, and are we back to chorus now? Yeah. But interestingly, unlike the previous chorus where we had the riff, the high riff on the guitar and the synth alternating with the voices, let's hear it again. In this one, they are at the same time. So previously we had this sensible counterpoint where we had one melody and then we had the other melody taking up their own separate places. But here, both at the same time, which is crazy. It's not like they interfere with each other. They're in different ranges, and one of them is melodically moving, whereas the other is keeping them pretty much on one note. So it's not as if there's much interference, but it's just two main catchy bits of the song at the same time. So which are you meant to focus on? I don't know. Is that how you listen to music? That's not how I listen to music. We're getting some real, yeah, I would say metallic synths coming through here. Slidey, very, very sibilant kind of ones going up into this high range. It's fun. just a thickening of the texture with an added bit of chaos. Yeah, so here, instead of that I'm Still Standing being at the same time as the riff, it's taking up those two more open spaces, whereas the melody, You Haven't Found a Way to Kill Me Yet, is taking up the space with the riff. So we've just got a reversal of the relationship there, which is, it's interesting. It's a very rare thing to happen, I think, and it's a cool structural idea. Guitar solo to end. Okay, hard to call it a guitar solo, but it works. Something like that, just repeating over 4 times with a little bit of a vocal on the end, but an outro nonetheless, a new bit of material at the end, which is fun. Let's just hear if there's anything else in the last 3 seconds. No, let's hear that again in context. Wow, I wasn't expecting it. Very fun, just added, but up. Does that classify as its own section? Because now we need to do the bingo, and we have this bit which says terminal has multiple sections. I would say no, it doesn't. But we did get, distorted grainy synths. We got metallic synths. The second chorus was longer, so that's nice. One moving part in chorus is definitely not true. Harp is definitely not true. Bass is absolutely, definitely true. Second verse straight after first. Depends how you qualify that. Let's have one more listen to that section and let's see. So, yeah, from about here, isn't it? So here's our first verse. Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't say so. I would say that feels like one verse section, 4 lines long, reasonable verse length. You wouldn't go shorter than that for a verse. So yeah. So we'll say no for that one. Full mix filter, no. Build through bridge. Well, again, we didn't really have a bridge here, did we? What did we have? Let's hear it again. God, it's just slipped my mind. Oh, yeah. It still does count as an exploration, I suppose, but definitely doesn't build through. It's more of an instrumental than a bridge. There's no new material, so I wouldn't call it a bridge. And in fact, yeah, I guess it does use the material that existed before in a different manner, so I would call it an exploration. Cool, good to get that sorted. Distorted sample. Yes, sorry, we've got that one at the beginning. That's a distorted sample. Metallophone, no, although technically, potentially, that piano could actually be a metallophone. Should we give it the benefit of the doubt? Go on, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. In outro chorus and coda, yeah, actually we do have that. So that's nice, just a little bit of extra on the end. Pauses, no. No intro, no. Silence, no. Chorus part 2 by itself, that was never going to happen. Although we do get the I'm still standing, don't we? Does that count? No, I would say that's a hook by itself. It doesn't count. Terminal has multiple sections, we're going to say no. Chorus has 2 parts. Arguably, why not? Let's give it that one. Let's give it that one. One moving part in hook. Yeah. Although, yeah, we could say the bass is moving, but because it does the same thing every single bar, it's sort of loses that that feeling of movement, that feeling of unpredictability that we're trying to convey with that idea. Breathy footloose synth. No, building noises. Not really this time. Poorly defined section. Yes, because the hook section doesn't really define as a hook section. It's got a hook in it, but there's more stuff going on. Bridge after second chorus. If we would call it a bridge, then yes, but we don't, so no. Military snare, no. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Still no lines, but a good showing, better showing. 11. That's on the way to half. It's almost half. All right. How are we doing for time? Oh, really? We're doing just fine for time. Obsession. Don't need to tell me about this one. Okay, so very crunchy, grainy. Why not? Let's just put it straight in. Distorted, rough, grainy synths. With percussion doing the same kind of thing. So this is again a kind of Aksak rhythm, but we're not in 4 now. So if we were thinking of this in longer beats, it would be like that. And you can hear that da 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 all fits within 3 beats, with the 4th beat being the beginning of the next section. 1, a 2, a 3, and 1, a 2, a 3, and 1. Right? And so that that Aksak in there then is 3 3 2 2 2 3 3 2 2 2, and all that fits in 3 longer beats. 3 3 2 2 2. So again, another sort of off-kilter rhythm, exciting, yeah, percussive feeling, I guess, primal. It's like it's complex within the most basic element of the music, which is a fun dichotomy, really, isn't it? That's nice. Anyway, that's how we start. We start, yeah, again, very tech sounding and distorted. And we have that other synth which sounds more watery, giving us a little more harmonic context. Something like that. Doesn't feel quite like that. That's quite nice. Yeah, more like, that's like a D and a C. The 7th apart, big interval, so it sounds quite different when it gets up to that higher note. And there is something similar happening in the bass or the low synth there, but it's so murky it's hard to tell exactly what notes are coming through. It sort of feels like a B flat. It's building, and then a very metallic sounding instrument comes through, very twangy. Yeah, so that's a guitar, a very bright sounding guitar, very distorted, not that distorted I suppose. And it's just going between those 2 notes, C and D flat. So interesting that we had D's in the other part. Yeah, really not a straightforward key center then here. And the drums have come in more fully here. Yeah, complicated. We've got this kind of bada just before the end of the 3 beats. Yeah, hang on. There, which sounds like it's on some quite high toms maybe, but it's quite distorted and quite a weird sound. Yeah, quite. I'm gonna wallow in this for a little bit. Yeah, weird rhythm from the shaker, which sounds like it's reversed. It's going and it's coming on the straight after the first beat, and then on the second beat, and then I think the and of the third beat. No, sorry, that is wrong. I think it's that. No, it's different in each bar. Oh my goodness. No, it's not different in every bar, but that third bar for some reason had me going. But it is straight after the first beat in the first and second and fourth bars. Yeah, and then it feels slightly late on that. Yeah, slightly late on the and after the second, and then more on the beat on the and after the third. So there might be some phase going on there, but it's complicated enough that I can't break it down for you. Cool feeling anyway, like quite weird and psychedelic space. It doesn't feel very settled. And especially being in 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it does have a feel of non-Western music to it. If I were a ethnomusicologist, I'm sure I could be more specific about that. You might well hear something with a similar rhythm coming out of the Eurasian border, I suppose, going all the way down to, say, Egypt at the Eurasia-African border. Maybe even into Africa. I if I were to name a place, that is the large area I would focus on to try and find a similar rhythm to this. But at the same time, it might just be an original creation, and I'm sure that Jehnny Beth, who is seemingly quite switched on, isn't deliberately ripping off anyone, and probably is just trying to find an original thing that feels new and exciting to her. That's what I would assume. Anyway, I think we're into a kind of verse section now. We've got 2 vocals doing a similar thing. The guitar has dropped out. One vocal is just slightly on the voice, never, but with a lot of distortion. And then the other is whispering, never, never. So that's fun that we get both these voices in tandem together, almost feeling like they're one expression. There's a book by China Mieville called Embassy Town, which has aliens in it that can only speak basically 2 different ideas at the same time, and so different sets of twins of the human race learn to do this synergistic speaking. So that's what that reminds me of, a kind of alien presence that has 2 separate voices working together. It's nice. There's a shimmer of cymbal in the background, but no real hits of it. It doesn't suddenly go brah, but it's got this. So maybe it's being reversed and spared forwards and things like that. I don't know. As well as that, it's nice that the drums are kind of split between the beginning and the end. We have the kick drum things at the beginning of the bar, and then we have the ba-ba-da of, I guess, maybe the snare, but maybe a tom at the end. We have those 2 things split in what is kind of an unusual way to treat drums, I suppose. Yeah, it really feels very intoxicating, this atmosphere, while still retaining the scariness of the previous songs. There's the guitar back in. Oh, wow. And now the vocals, we've got another one on top. So we've got that in the middle there. And then one up here. I think they're in an uneasy octave relationship. Doing something like that. Yeah. Again, Phrygian on this song. So there's a whole lot of that dark, aggressive battle music feel going on in this. But although the guitar is, I guess, going for that, but maybe slightly more discordant with a little bit of a closer relationship with that low. It might feel more like that or something like that. Interesting though how the vocals are so different to the previous tracks in their relationship to rhythm. Here they are just expanding, filling the space with long held things, whereas in the previous tracks we've had a lot more percussive rhythm in the voice. Fun. Sudden change of texture, and this is probably our chorus now. Let's just assume that. We've still got the uneasy octaves. I don't know why I'm so girly. Something like that. I don't know why. Why? Let's hear it one more time. Why? Yeah. Straightforward minor pentatonics melody there. Doesn't feel very foreign, feels very familiar. And yeah, it's just the weird octaves, weird vocal performance that makes it feel ethereal and unusual. And this new texture that we've got here. We've kept the kick drum, we've kept the distorted guitar, we've maybe got some bass rumbling just on a low C, slightly sharp C, and we've got these hits of strings, it sounds like. Yeah, it sounds like some strings, some mid-range strings just going jump, jump with a really fast bow. Agitato, but they're also distorted in a way that means it could be another instrument. It could be even just a MIDI string sound that's been put through a lot of a lot of effects. Got that scratching on the guitar tone as it changes in pan as well. Let's hear that again. So it's coming really up, yeah, panning right across the, yeah, and we've now got a really heavy, sounds like an 8-string or something, well, maybe a 7-string because it's not actually that low, it's just down on the C sharp. Oh, interesting, maybe we've been in C sharp this whole time. Yeah, I guess we have. Let's hear it again. Nah, it really feels like a C. But I notice now, yeah, it's just in the cracks. So interesting. If they used MIDI instruments, I'm sure they would have had to slightly pitch those up in a weird way, which is fun. It's fun to do things not to the standard A = 440. Anyway. Yeah, then when we get here, it really feels like we've got two things working against each other because we've got those things slightly raised with that there. Is that quite right? No, actually that's the lower one. That's more on C going to D flat. And then that's just slightly higher than you expect it to be. Yeah, so really uncanny discordance here between the notes. Yeah, pretty crazy actually, pretty uncomfortable feeling. And that's a really heavy guitar sound. It doesn't feel like a bass because it's not got this fat string sound, I guess. It's got the slight tinniness of a guitar to it. And there's another guitar doing it more with a power chordy feel, just a slightly different distortion on it as well. And it feels like we're building somewhat, doesn't it? Yeah, we've got one really soft guitar there. What's it doing? Let's hear that again. Yeah, it's just two notes, C and G, and then C sharp and G, or D flat and G. It sounds very soft, and it comes just after this big wave as well. Yeah, and we're back to that intoxicating. So you can hear the hits of the ride cymbal actually, but I think they come mostly. Let's just hear it again. Yeah, I think they're emphasizing these main beats, da 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 da. So the first two are hidden quite entirely, the hits of them, behind the hits of the kick drum, which are so heavy. It feels like the guitar is actually avoiding that by being at the front of the beat, it's just slightly earlier than the beat. And we've got that squeal, something like that over the top as well from the distorted guitar. And we've got a bass at the bottom, but it's no distortion on it. It's just really, really gentle. Okay, another guitar come in. Yeah, that's our standard one. And you can hear actually much more clearly now, I think, how there's two notes that aren't quite in tune with each other. Like that. We get this really just constant discord with notes that are meant to be the same. They're just not the same. So it's always on, always in your face how things are not right. Okay, so this feels like getting back to our verse now, and similar texture to the first verse, but with those squeals coming through. Okay, and our chorus. Similar texture again, but more things winding around in the atmosphere. It feels pretty weird. Yeah, guitars and other static things just roll in the background. There's our heavy guitar riff again. I guess that could be our pre-chorus really, couldn't it? And this is maybe our chorus. With those two guitars building up. Okay, and then this is our bridge, and this feels like actually new material now. We've changed meter. So before we were 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and here you can still count it with those threes, but there's 4 beats in place of 3 now. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. You see how that works? I don't know, there might be a delay on what I'm saying compared to how fast the audio comes through, but we get that. I need you to, yeah, I need you to come and see me. I need you to come. I'm not great at polyrhythms like that, but I think that was okay. Yeah, so now we're really going into the equivalent meter that fits 4 beats into the space of the 3 before. So why not? Let's tap tempo. Let's see the relationship. So our initial rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's just suddenly jumped up. I think it got 2 by accident. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So something like 100 beats. And then when we get to 4, I need you to da 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 da. Suddenly it's more like 150 beats because we're fitting 4 in the space of 3. Is that right? I need you to come and see me. Does that make sense? So then if we were going to have, no, I think it should be more like 130, shouldn't it? Let's just think. If we've got 3 beats and we've got 4 beats, give me a nice big spreadsheet. If we've got 4 and we've got 3, well, 150 divided by 4 should be the same as 100 divided by 3. It doesn't look like it is. 100 divided by 3. Actually, it's not far off. So 100 divided by 3 is 33.33333, and 150 divided by 4 is 37.5, which is too fast. So probably it's just the speed that I'm putting it in there. If we work out what it would be by doing equals 4 times 33.33333, we get 133. Yeah, so that's what we would expect. So maybe tap tempo is letting us down. Maybe it's me. Whatever. Let's try that again. Let's play the music and I'll tap along. No, right. This definitely says. It definitely says 150. In fact, it went up to 160 by the end there. So maybe that's not the relationship that we've got here, and I'm just tricking myself. But let's just try the other section and see if I just made a big error. Let's see how fast the other tempo is going again. Okay. Okay. Aha! There we go. I just tapped it in too slow to begin with. It's more like 120 beats per minute rather than 100. So that's so weird, because then I managed the other rhythm at the right speed, more or less. But 120 divided by 3 is 40, and 160 divided by 4 is also 40. So it is a metric modulation without a tempo change, which is so cool. The like underlying tempo of 40 big bars per minute, that's still kept the same. We're now just keeping 4 beats in them rather than 3, which is, yeah, it's a really unusual thing to happen, and it's so neat, and it feels really cool, and unusual, but also unsettling. And another weird thing to happen in this weird song, which I'm definitely gonna give a like to, even though I'm only halfway through, and add it to my playlist of recent songs. Here we go. Also, the texture change is big, isn't it? Dropping for bridges. What is this? Why do we always drop for the bridge? I don't know. But it happens so often. We've lost so much. We've got a little bit of guitar bass in the background, but we've got the tap of the snare, which is clearly snare now, but it's a distorted sound, quite bandpassed, just this kind of sound. And then we've got these octave vocals over the top, still sounding weird. Yeah, and the pitch is quite approximate. It's not it's not nice and clean like that. It's which is very approximate and slightly weirder, therefore slightly more, well, you could say laid back, but that's not really how I feel. I feel more under the influence, really. Okay, just one voice giving us that big drop, and then hey, coming in with some guitars. This feels like a new section though. What's happening here? Now we've got that 4 still, da 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 da, but we're dividing each of those by 3 with the kick drum, which gives it another feeling of 3s, but actually not one we've had before. So yeah, really cool. We've got another rhythmic interest element here. Yeah, slightly militaristic, but it's not military snare, so we're not going to tick off that one on the bingo sheet. Yeah, I think that's like, I mean, it's not actually like Ravel's bolero, but I think it is. I might be wrong, but I think it's a bolero rhythm, that da 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 da. It occurs in quite a few things. One of them is Beck's bolero. Another is Child in Time by Deep Purple. Yeah, I would try and look up what that rhythm is, but I find it really difficult to work out where to look when I'm trying to decipher what people call rhythms. There's, as far as I'm aware, no useful books on the subject. Maybe I'm wrong. Please do let me know if there is one that you're aware of. And ChatGPT is useless at it, absolutely useless at deciphering what a rhythm is from given notation or anything, or even just writing it in words, going one e and a, or whatever you might do. Yeah, it can't even tell. I got it to, I asked it to name what a chinquillo rhythm is, and it told me what a chinquillo rhythm is, but then when I put, it actually had an error in there, so maybe that's why it got it wrong. When I then went, what is this rhythm, which is what a chinquillo is, and it couldn't tell me what it was. I don't know, useless technology. Regardless, anyway, we're carrying on. Yeah, and we've just got really these same 2 notes which have been dominating, the C and the C sharp, slightly out of tune with different parts. But the vocal comes in on that G sharp and going down to an F sharp again, slightly out from some of the instruments. So this is a new section, a second section within our bridge, which is cool. Or maybe this is part of the coda. I don't know. But that is sort of hinting again towards Well, towards not octatonic because we've not got the unusual fifth, have we? Yeah, we haven't got the flat fifth we would get for an octatonic, but sort of leading us towards a like Phrygian sharp 3, which is a common one in flamenco. Interesting one, anyway. Yeah, building higher, and then yeah, all the way up on that C. Very clear, very clear, and strong, yeah, it feels like the end of a section, surely. Yes. Now we're back into our 3 feeling thing. We've got the strings from the chorus. We've got the kick drum, which is almost constant in that first section. We've got the weird guitars as well, the softer guitars. Yeah, the low bass, clean bass, and the bum bum. That guitar. Oh, that's like a doom riff. Someone tell me what level this is from. It was amazing how many of that first Doom soundtrack songs were really good, but also were based on 12-bar blues just all the time. Not the topic of discussion today. Let's keep going. Different melody part here. Da, 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 da. The guitar and the voice in unison, and just bursting in for brief moments of the texture. It's weird. It's weird sound. Okay, so this is a similar kind of thing to what we got at the beginning with just the whisper and the voice that's slightly on, but the voice is more on now. More on, huh? And everything's building. And there's the whisper just before another big drop, or filling a big drop. Yeah, good. And then it feels like we're going to that triplety feeling one again. Da 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 da, da 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 da. Oh, but that's so weird because now the triplets are on the first beat, not on the second beat. So it's not ba da 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 da. It's da 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 da. That's the weirdest switch up. But again, similar to what happened in No Good for People, where we got the melody layered over the other part of the chorus. We've moved the rhythm to the other part of the bar. It's bizarre. Let's just check that because that is such an unusual idea. Yeah, no, absolutely. That feels pretty conventional, that section. And then this section. So weird, but really effective. I love that vocal there. Really biting. And again, the distortion feels like it's on higher than it needs to be. I think this would have been a really aggressive vocal, clean as well. Maybe aesthetically less in keeping with the heavy distortion on all the other things, so maybe not appropriate to do that, but But yeah, I just love virtuosically aggressive things. There's that extra melody again. Da, 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 da. Okay. And then some weird, unrelated drums to finish off there. After we got that big note again. Well, that was really a very cool song. Very cool. It was basically binary. We had this switch in the middle. Well, even 3 sections, I suppose. A 3-act structure. A 3-act structure in a song. So we had the I guess that first part did come back again, so it's not just straightforward that. It's like A, B, A, B, or A, B, C, A, C, something like that. Yeah, we got recurring parts from the bridge that were unique in the bridge. They came back at the end of the song, which is a really interesting thing to do. Like maybe you could call that a middle 8, but either way, even if it's not just a strange part of the bridge, it's still occurring in unexpected places. So it gives this song a really unique feel, a really unique progression. Even when the actual substance of it, well, rhythmically very unusual, but harmonically, melodically straightforward, really straightforward, just playing around with 2 notes for the most part, with a little bit of that Phrygian sharp third scale. Yeah, it's interesting how these songs have tiny bits of melody, really economical with the melody and how much it's used, which yeah, is quite unusual overall. Like mostly it's one or the other. We'd have melody in the song through most of the song, or we'd have speaking and rapping and being aggressive as another song. You know, we'd have those 2 things separated, 2 different songs, but here we have them juxtaposed in basically each of these 3 songs. I am going to leave it here, but let's just fill out that musical bingo. That one took longer than I was expecting. We didn't really have building noises or breathy-fluttery synths. Outro, chorus, and coda. Did we have chorus? I would say no, it wasn't the chorus. It was something else. Metallophone, no. Metallic synths. Well, that one didn't really have synths that were so clear, so I'm going to say no. Second chorus longer, I don't think so. A distorted sample, no, I think we were mainly doing live instruments in that one. Pauses, no, I think even though we had these odd rhythmic moments, it kept the rhythm going all constantly, which is great. One moving part in hook. Well, what would be our hook section if we had one? Oh yeah, I don't think we can say we had one. Poorly defined section. Hooray, we've got one on this bingo card. Bridge after second chorus. Oh no, we do have distorted synths already. That's good. Bridge after second chorus. Yeah, we can definitely cross that one off. And bridge breakdown exploration. No intro. We did have an intro. Build through bridge. We actually did build through the bridge. Not straightforwardly, but there definitely was a build. One moving part in pre-chorus. I don't really think we had a pre-chorus. We didn't have harp. We didn't have a full mix filter. We didn't. Oh, how much silence did we get, if any, for that whisper? Let's just hear it one more time. Oh, it's close, but I don't think I can give it a silence here. Chorus has 2 parts, not really. Military snare, no, although military kick drum, I suppose, but that's not very military. Terminal has multiple sections, yeah, seemingly. Hard to define, but we'll say yes. Chorus part 2 by itself, we'll say no. Although there would be an argument for, you could see that, yeah, but as a second chorus, and then that does happen by itself, but it only happens by itself. So it's not really chorus part 2, it's a chorus 2. Second verse straight after first, and I don't really think that's our scheme, but we'll just have one more listen to that beginning, because that one's the hardest category to work out. So here comes our first verse. Is this our second line? Sure. Our third line. Fourth line. Is this our second then? You know what? Why not? Let's say that is that. And we definitely got some bass. Bass for all three of those. I mean, bass is so ubiquitous, so it's always going to come up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not a great showing. But so many interesting things in that one, aside from these generic categories. We don't really care. So we got, I don't know, I can't remember, but this is being recorded, so it is recorded. You know what they got. Cool, great. Have a nice day. This was Jehnny Beth, and this is shaping up to be a cool, if very short, album with a similar level of exciting stuff to the previous one. Maybe not quite as grand in scope as the previous one. There were some really amazing songs on the previous one. So, nonetheless, give this a listen. Definitely seems like it's worth your time. Yeah, have a good day as well, and see you at some point.